Hello, welcome to the France 24 interview. Well, it began back in March with the arrest and torture of a group of young boys in a poor southern town in Syria. Their reported crime, writing anti-government graffiti on a wall. Now, that was the spark that ignited a series of protests across one of the Arab world's most rigid police states. Now, the ferocious crackdown against dissent, apparently underway in Syria right now, is taking place beyond the world's eyes. At least journalists' eyes, because the regime of President Bashar al-Assad has refused to let foreign reporters into the country. But Syria watchers peg the death toll to date at well over 1,000 and climbing by the day, if not by the hour. Now, much of what we do know about what's happening in Syria, or at least think we know about the uprising, is thanks to people like my guest today, who is Ammar Korabi. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for that.
You are correct me if I'm wrong, you are a Syrian dissident who 2 months ago, you left Syria. You're based in Cairo.
Yes.
You're the president of the National Organization for Human Rights in Syria. And just to make sure I'm absolutely right about this, you are based in Cairo, but your organization is operating. You have hundreds of people on the ground in Syria. I want to start with that obvious question. How does a human rights organization right now operate on the ground in Syria? How are your people doing their job?
Yes, that's right. To clear, I'm in Cairo not because I left Syria to Cairo. I have General Assembly with the Arab Organization for the Human Rights. Okay. That's in the end of the March. And when I traveled to Egypt and present this conference, they put my name in the airport and publish bad news about me. So for that, I'm now forced to be.
You couldn't go back to your country.
Yes, but for our organization, still, because I want to declare that our work before the Syrian revolution not comfortable. Also. Each time we have people who are arrested from the regime in the jail, the Ministry of Labor and Social refuse our register before 5 years. They ask to arrested me and all the member. We have 2 cases in the administration court. So all our situation, it's bad, not just now. But for that, we can work as we can with the people, cover the news, contact with the families, and collect all the information from the witnesses, and from the lawyers, especially because we have 42 lawyers whose work in all different courts.
So your organization members on the ground in Syria are going around the country speaking to what? Witnesses, eyewitnesses of apparent crimes committed? How are you exactly getting your information?
Because when we receive hundreds of claimants each moment and hundreds of people who contact with us, we can separate who's the correct and who the wrong information. But in our work, we couldn't issue anything unless we have documents. When we talk about the people who killed, we gave the name and the age and how this case happened from any village, from any country, how these people killed, and the same thing for the people who arrested, who's the branch of the security arrested these people, etc. So we have all the document when we took, and we have hundreds and thousands of
documents,
cases.
Photo evidence, video evidence as well?
Yes, that's from our tools, and also we have the paper, we have witnesses, people, we registered witnesses from the people. We have a picture also in addition to the video.
The latest reports we're hearing were from the northern town of Jisr al-Shagur.
Yes.
No one really knows exactly what happens. Conflicting accounts, regimes saying that there were armed gangs that were firing on security forces. People who've gotten out, refugees, tell a far different story. What are your people and your organization telling you? What happened in that town?
First of all, now Jisr al-Shagur, it's surrounded and no anyone can enter to Jisr al-Shagur. So the information right now not too big.
You have no one there. No one in your.
No, and also the internet it's cut from all the Syria, especially from Jisr al-Shagur. So we have the information about this area. Now Jisr al-Shagur it's empty from all the people. All the people get out from out of Jisr al-Shagur.
There are no residents left. Yeah.
Yes, and most of them go to the countryside of Idlib, and about 7,000 traveled to Antakya in Turkey.
To Turkey.
Yes, in Turkey. What happened before 4 days, 5 days, when the soldiers in the army wake up, they saw a strange soldier between them. And they discover these people follow to the gangs who close to the regime. They're wearing the same dress for the army, and these people shout the fire against the civilian people against the protesters. So the soldiers couldn't accept that. So they try just to protect the ordinary people, the civilian people.
So soldiers changing sides, soldiers within Bashar al-Assad's army saying, we will not fire on protesters.
Yes, that's right. And that's not began in the Jisr Shuhur. That began from the first day. And we have a lot of cases, and we have witnesses from the soldiers who refused to shout the fire against the protesters. Few of them left Syria, few of them now hidden in Syria, and few of them killed by refuse these orders.
Is this happening throughout the army? Because everyone says that the top elite is the Alawite sect and most of the army is Sunni. Do you see the possibility of a lot of defections in the army?
No, that's not in Jisr Shuhur, because now 4 units who came to Jisr Shuhur, it's from the ordinary army. We have 2 parts in the army, the parts who follow the steps and the defense of ministry, etc. They talk order from the manager, but we have also another part, and especially I talk about the 4th unit which receive the order from the people who close to the president, and I mean exactly
the 4th
Maher
Brigade.
al-Assad. Yes,
that's the Bashar al-Assad's son.
Yeah, not son, brother.
Brother, I'm sorry, is the head of the 4th Brigade. So he still relies on a loyal segment of the army.
Yes.
I want to ask about the actual killing, the extent of what's happening. What are your numbers right now as to the death toll over 3 months of protest? How high are they? Do you still get reports daily that it's rising? Where's the situation right now?
Until now, we have 1,300 people who killed from the civilian people, except the people from the security or the army, because the number of the security and army, we haven't all the names, because no transparency in Syria. Until now, the regime couldn't allow for the neutral journalists to enter to cover what happened. But 1,300, it's big number.
Based on your reports from
your people. Yes, we have the name and the details about each case. So we fair to this number. It's low in front of what we discover after the end of this revolution. That's happened in Egypt. In Egypt, they were speaking about 300, but after the revolution, they discovered 800, and in Syria, maybe 1,000 of the people who killed.
You think it's much higher?
Yes, and especially we talk about 10,000 people who arrested. Now, until the jail couldn't contain all this huge number, now the regime transferred the stadiums and the schools to as jails to put the people, and the official department also.
What can your organization, what can you do right now? You have the numbers, you say you have reports. What can you do with this information? What are you doing with this information?
A lot of things. One of the main, our work, document everything and contact with the International Organization for the Human Rights. Now we try to raise cases in the national courts in the Europe country. Now we have 3 countries who their constitution allow us to put these cases, especially about the genocide. We now collect the information for the Human Rights Council.
You're calling this genocide?
Yes.
You've used that word legally.
Yes, we are sure about that.
Your organization...
About the torture, about the horrible picture.
Your organization, it seems like you're thinking of the day after Bashar al-Assad is gone. Do you think he can stay in power much longer?
That depends on about the international community. That's what we ask from the United Nations and from the international community. We need the help from this country. Until now, this regime fall down inside Syria. But until now, outside Syria, they still contact with this regime by the ambassadors, by the contact. So we ask these countries to remove the cover about this regime.
And you are right now, you're one of several human rights organizations in Syria operating. You're not the only one.
Yes, of course.
You're the only. Well, listen, Amar Korabi, obviously, I thank you for taking the time to be with us today. This is an evolving situation. I don't need to remind our viewers in Syria, but we do have the reports. The death toll is rising, is escalating. The crackdown has been spreading across the country, and you are making an appeal for more help from the international community in tracking exactly what's going on. Thank you
for France 24.
Thank you very much for joining us, and thanks to all of you for watching. We've been talking about the Syrian uprising and the deteriorating human rights situation in that country.